If you can master this one skill, your book selling game is just going to crush it. What I have in front of me here is a geometry high school textbook. I know it's a high school textbook because it's published by McDougall Little, which historically is a publishing company that publishes high school textbooks. Now, when you look at the listing of this book, you have somebody in the buy box at $41. That's a prime offer. You can see that's actually the lowest offer there. But the reason why I actually started kind of paying attention to this book is because when I click on the orders page here on SellerAmp, you can actually see that this book sold about 3 weeks for me. So think about this. This is a high school textbook that sold at the middle to end part of May, when really the bulk of the high school textbook season is not really going to happen until the end of July going into August. And so the skill that I'm trying to teach you here is that on a day-to-day basis, you should really be looking at what types of books are selling, especially if you do a lot of seasonal textbook flips, because of the fact that that offers opportunity for you to go rebuy those same books. Now, when we go back to the listing and kind of evaluate what has happened, you can kind of see in the offer count here something very amazing happen. And that is the offer count has started to take a very, very steep nosedive. And what that indicates is that there's a lot of demand for this book, and this book is selling quite a bit right now. You can also see that reflected in the sales rank as well, where there's kind of this little dip right here. And I believe it got all the way down to like 84,000 or 13,000 actually, I think it was. No, actually it was 80,000. So it got down to about 80,000, which is a very good sales rank considering this book, is generally between 200 and 500,000. But when you look at today's offer count, which happens to be about 10, and compare it to the same day, which happens to be right now, it's June 9th. If you compare it to June 9th of 2024, exactly 1 year ago, you can actually see that the offer count was 38. So think about that. There's only about 10 or 11 people selling it right now, and there are 38 people selling it at the same time last year. What that tells us is that, wow, this book is really going to pop off. And this is what I mean. If you can learn this skill, which is that when books start selling, to go and kind of look at, okay, well, what is the new sort of environment of that book? How has the landscape changed? How has the number of sellers changed? Like, if you can really get good at that skill, you can make a bunch more money. And so what I noticed was that, okay, when this offer count started dropping faster than what the offer count was in the previous, same time the previous year, I just went ahead and bought more copies. You can actually see that I've already sold out of all the copies I had bought. I actually only bought 4 copies of this particular book for the upcoming textbook season because it's not a book that has an amazing sales rank. It doesn't have this very long, extended, stereotypical sales rank goal. But I mean, it definitely sells well, and I was being conservative. I obviously could have bought more than 4 copies, but the thing is, as soon as I saw that this book was starting to perform much better than it was doing the previous year, I went and bought more copies at a higher price than what I actually bought the book for originally. So I'm going to go over my orders page here. We're going to go and type in geometry. We're going to go ahead and search, and you can see I just bought on June 1st another 4 copies, so 3 and 4. So I basically just replenished my whole supply. Again, I am buying them at a more expensive price. For example, you can see March 3rd, I bought the first round of this high school textbook, and I bought it for about $17.38 each. And then you can see, as of recently, these newer, these copies that I just recently bought, I'm paying much more than that. So I'm paying basically $24. So I'm paying a little bit more for each copy. But again, the landscape of this book has changed. It's now performing very, very well. And so it's a book that I want to buy more copies of. Now, the crazy thing about this is if you zoom in, you can actually see that the buy box went up to $99. If you click there on that purple diamond, you can actually see that this person actually did sell out. So this person sold this for $100, and this person was in stock at $79. They sold out as well. Now it's sitting back down here at $40. But again, this book is really going to pop off. I mean, even at $41, this is honestly not even that bad of a buy at $41. And the reason for that is because if you look at the previous year, the buy box for a long period of time was basically just sitting in the $80 range. Now, again, if you look at the offer count, it's at 10. This book only, got down to 10 or 11 in the used offer count last year. But again, it had basically 2.5 months to get there. So in other words, it's like we're 2.5 months ahead of schedule, but we still have the best time for this book to actually sell. So in other words, if you even were to buy even if you were to buy some of these copies at $41, I would bet you with a high likelihood you could still make a good margin on even buying those copies and selling them for this particular book. So how would I change my strategy with these 4 new copies that I just sent to Amazon? Well, I'm certainly not going to be selling them for $59 anymore. I'm going to be pricing them much higher than that, again, because the landscape of this particular book has changed. So $23.87 is what I've purchased each of these books for. I'm obviously going to monitor prices, and of course my repricer is going to price against the FBA offers on the listing. And you can actually see that there's only one person in stock at 15 copies, and then it goes to 100. But again, these 15 copies could easily be purchased within one day, like easily. On a book like this, you can actually see when you zoom in to the keeper graph here, the previous year, there are periods of time where the offer count just jumps. It goes from like 25 down to 21. And what that could indicate is one high school coming along and needing 15 copies and buying all 15 copies from one person. It certainly has happened to me, which is why I'm so confident that it could happen here. When I see 15 copies of a book like this on a listing that's performing this well, oh, that's nothing. That like I said, that could easily be purchased in one day. We could come back tomorrow and all those copies could be gone. And then the next prime price will be up at 100. So for me, the cool thing here is that we've got a couple months out until the bottom of, or the best, or the highest demand, most opportunity to sell this book. So I'm actually going to price my book sky high here because of the fact that, again, there's just not really any copies on the listing, and there's still likely going to be a tremendous amount of demand for this book. So what I'm going to do is probably just match, or honestly, I'm probably going to shoot for like $89.99. So I'm going to be shooting at about $40 a copy. So potentially I can make up to 160. And honestly, I would not put it out of the realm of possibility that you could sell this book up for like 110, like something pretty crazy like that. Because again, when you have a bunch of people who need a book and there's just no supply, you essentially can set your own prices within reason, obviously. Like, obviously, you're not going to set a price at $1,000 here. And of course, you know, Amazon is probably going to limit how high the price can go before they give you high pricing here. But the thing is, there's already one person who sold their book for $99. Well done to that person. Would you say, well, Joji, aren't you exploiting the buy box? Well, the thing is, you just have to remember that every book is unique and every book's environment is dynamic. It's always changing on a day-to-day, a weekly basis. And we have an incredible winner here. If you have any high school textbooks like this that are performing very, very well relative to the previous year, and you already are selling copies and you're already seeing the price go up, that is a telltale sign that you need to go buy more copies and you need to raise your prices. So I hope this video is helpful. This is an easy way to really elevate your game, to just be able to replenish your inventory, to replenish high school and college textbooks, and to really just crush it and be better than average. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.